First off, just want to explain the jacket. Trying to dress better. It's not going too well, but I'm trying. So, secondly, in this video, you're going to see two first responders talking to each other about the pandemic. Well, actually, one person in this video is my dad. So, let me explain, because I'll just say it. I don't really like when people interview their family. It annoys me. I think it's biased. And I guess you can call me a hypocrite for doing this. You know, I'm not trying to be like that with this. The reason for this is because, well, for starters, I'm going to be making this a weekly thing where hoping for weekly, probably going to be every 2 weeks, but I'm hoping for weekly. So I'm going to be talking to first responders every week, maybe 2 weeks, and asking them about their experiences, getting real stories from people that are on the front lines of the pandemic, because I think that's something you don't see a lot in mainstream media. So, yeah, that's why. And secondly, as for why my dad is in this video, basically, we were kind of the ones who came up with this, because we were talking a lot about. He suggested it to me, and I was like, that sounds great. So we were talking about how, like, mainstream media, you look at it and you see, like, figureheads, basically. You don't see, like, guys that are actually on the ground for the pandemic. You'll see, like, a chief of the hospital or secretary of health or governors, you know? You don't see, like, nurses, like, paramedics, things like that. People that are, like, the first ones you go to. You know, I think he says it in the video, and it's a good point. He said, like, 911. They're the guys that respond. So I think it's important to hear from them, you know? And, yeah. And so as to why he's in the video, the person in the video he's talking to is Chris Winnis. They're really good friends. They worked a lot together. And my dad was at the interview with me because he wanted to talk to him, and he hadn't seen him in a while. And after I got done asking him all of my questions, which you'll see in a later video, I'm going to kind of... You'll see what I mean. But anyway, so after I got done asking him all of my questions, I shut the camera off, and they just started talking. And my dad was actually really curious about some of the stuff that had, you know, happened with COVID since he had left the fire department. Because he's a firefighter. He was a firefighter for over 20 years. I think I forgot to mention that. So, yeah, that's why. So he was curious about this stuff. And he ended up asking him, like, these really great questions I hadn't even thought of, because he had the experience of over 20 years of handling patients. He was a rescue driver. He worked on rescues. So he would go to, like, you know, some woman has a heart attack in Walmart. He was the guy that would go pick her up. So he's got that knowledge and in-depth experience, and I think it really helped to give an insight that I couldn't bring to the table, lacking a lot of that experience. I think it really made for a good piece of content, and I think, most importantly, I don't think it's biased. I mean, I guess you could call it biased, because he does have his own opinions and perspectives and preconceptions based on his time in the fire department. But I really do think that it provides a valuable perspective that's needed. So if that's something that you don't appreciate or might be offended by, I can understand that. Please turn this video off and wait for a later video that I'll be making with me interviewing a large group of a mix between firefighters, first responders. I think I have to see what I can get, but that will be coming at a later date. So just wait for that. That'll be coming out. But for those that might be interested by this, I think it's really cool. It's really interesting to me. Just going back and editing it, I was really impressed at the things they talk about. So I think they give a lot of good insight. So I hope you enjoy.
So, I mean, things have changed a lot.
Things have changed unbelievably. It's just when you and I were together pre-COVID, we'd walk in with our gloves, talk, sit. I'd sit at the table. Oh yeah, what's going on? Da 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 da. And do our patient stuff and talk. And now it's do you have COVID symptoms? Well, I got an upset stomach. Well, that's one. I've had a little cough. Well, that's two. I also have COPD and emphysema. Well, we know that, but unfortunately, I got to lean this way, and it has changed. You usually being the nice rescue officer, you're in the back all the time, so you're gowned up. Now we leave the engine company outside, and the engine officer puts on his N95 mask and stays 6 feet away and gets information for you. My driver, if I don't need him, you stay in the front of the truck. I'll grab the stretcher, bring it to the door, drop it, have them walk out, put a mask on them, put them on the stretcher. I will move them, put them in so that nobody else is there. And now, when say it's a CPR, everybody gowns up.
Yeah.
We did get the Lucases now, which is nice. With the protocol changes now, we just do a non-rebreather for 8 minutes. So there's not too much going on.
And that was starting beforehand. That was ramping up.
That was ramping up. But now I can go in, I can run in. If I hear it's a CPR, I might get gowned up in the truck on the way there. Now I can go in, start everything, hook up the Lucas, put a non-rebreather on while my driver gets ready. The first engine company gets dressed up, and the second engine company is there in case we need them.
Are you doing more CPRs now?
We had a run there for a long time where about just prior Murphy's Law, it's Murphy's Law, just prior to the Lucas machine being put on the trucks, we probably had 8 or 9 in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And now that we have them on there, it's, thank God it stopped, but it's an availability. Everything's getting looked at across the board. The hospitals have been good. Kent's Infectious Disease department will call us. Hey, you brought in a positive. I just want to let you know. The ERs are great. Hey, they were positive. You brought another patient. Okay. I had my mask on. I had my face shield. And I had either my gown or my gown. Sometimes not the gown, but at least the face shield and the non-rebreather. Okay, I'm good. I just got to go back, wash my clothes, wash my hands, shower, get it off me. Because, could it stay for an hour or two? They're still debating on how long it lasts on porous and what have you. But the game has changed.
Yeah. So how much, in your opinion, how much do you think they don't know about all of this?
I think they're getting to it. Pfizer's coming out. That's supposed to be here soon, hopefully. A few other companies. But you know what? Like we were talking about earlier, your dad's nice and skinny. He may get the sniffles. Me, I'm 6'1", 240. Might knock me on. You just don't know how your body's going to react to it.
So like the person you were talking about before, that his wife tested positive.
Yep.
And he's a nurse.
She works with elderly, positive. He got positive,
Got sent home.
Letting it run its course. Couldn't really get his breath.
For how long after the fact?
Oh, it's been a while. It's been a few weeks. About 21 days, maybe 22 days, and he still couldn't breathe and found out, hey, I got PEs from it.
And what's PE?
Pulmonary embolism, and now you're talking breaking the clots and very scary.
What's a pulmonary embolism?
It's it's a blood clot that goes through the first half of the heart and then sort of just explodes into your lungs and takes away the ability to exchange air. So you're not exchanging, so you're always short of breath.
Right.
But very lucky, because it could have gone up, through, and out the other side, and now you're looking at, could be cardiac arrest, could be a stroke, it could be a lot of things.
And now he's on a blood thinner?
Now he's on a blood thinner to try to keep it from happening again.
And this all started from his wife tested positive, he tested positive.
Yeah, they're both in the healthcare, so it's tough to say who gave. She came down with symptoms first. You know, that's why they do that quarantine for 14 days, because I may get symptoms in 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
You might get symptoms in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. We were both exposed at the same time. It might just take me longer.
Right.
It's all
And
about.
we're far enough apart now. Right?
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let's see. It all has to do with viral load too. If the person I was exposed to was loaded with the virus and has a high viral and symptomatic and all that, you know, it might not take much. But you know, if I have a low virus load in my body, I'll feel off, but maybe, hopefully, I'm not passing it on.
But it's a silent disease.
It is, and it's a virus.
What is your baseline health condition that affects a lot of it? But you never know.
You go have your physical, you get weighed.
Yeah.
They check your heart for that second.
Yeah.
They talk about the medications you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. What's your underlying issue? I really don't know.
So I have one question. So when I was on rescue and I got out right before this all started and was being overly cautious, like asking about travel history and this and that, fevers and that. But that's all out the window now. But in the hospitals were jam-packed before.
Yes.
And then when the COVID started hitting, the runs dropped down. All the frequent flyers dropped down.
At the beginning.
And then everyone started getting comfortable, and there was a big concern about people ignoring the underlying health problems.
And that happened a lot.
And then we had that catch-up.
Yes.
Where people who ignored it because they didn't want to go to the hospital to be exposed to COVID.
Because COVID was in the hospital, nobody wanted to go to the hospital.
Right. So now we had all the people that should have gone to the hospital, and they ignored it. They couldn't get to the doctors and everything. So now, did you see an increase of people that paid the price, ignored it, and they're worse off conditions versus the frequent flyers?
A lot of times that we don't get to see that unless they call us.
Right.
I mean, I did have a lady that once I walked in, she's like, yeah, I got chest pain. I'm taking care of my husband, you know, and but I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to be around COVID. I want to stay at home. You know, and I finally talked her into saying, hey, listen, let me get you in the back of the rescue. Let me take a look at things, what's going on. Let me do a 12 lead. Let me make, you know, it's again a snap picture of 6 seconds of your life. Let me take a look. I told her she's having a STEMI.
Yeah.
A heart attack. Yes, you're having a STEMI. You need to go. I really don't want to. I said, if I leave you here, you might not make it.
Right.
And finally talked her into it and got her to the hospital, and we went right to the cath lab. So, I mean, people were scared then, but right now, with everything, today was 400 people in the hospital with COVID. I know that Care New England opened up their field hospital. They got patients. And Lifespan just opened up their field hospital at the convention center. They're ready to start taking patients. So patients that are too sick to be home, but not sick enough to be in ICU, they're shipping them to these field hospitals so that they can open up rooms.
So in that, I stay in touch with a lot of people. I've heard numerous people tell me that the emergency rooms the floors upstairs are chock full, and they're holding a tremendous amount of people in the emergency rooms. I'm hearing 50 people in the emergency rooms at Kent, held on several occasions.
Well, maybe not that many, but a majority of their rooms, a good majority of their
And
rooms
there
are
are people in the
full.
hallways and they're waiting.
Not too many in the hallways. They are out there if they don't need to be, on monitors or anything. But you're running out of rooms.
Yeah.
So, and with all the data that's been coming in every day, they finally just said, you know what, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, you and I we've talked about this over and over again. I look at Kent Hospital, was once the nice community hospital, but it serves a lot of communities now.
In the middle of the state.
Middle of the state. Providence, yeah, they're busy, but you have choices to go to. You can sort of spread out. Warwick, East Greenwich, North Kingstown, Hopkins Hills, Coventry,
Right, East Greenwich and all that stuff.
West Warwick. Closest hospital is Kent.
Right.
So they're busy.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's for much higher up and much smarter people to deal with the situation with the staffing and the amount of patients. But I think, are they seeing more patients? Yeah. Just before you left, I mean, we were averaging, I want to say 25 to 28 runs in a 24-hour period. Now,
Diversions.
when it started to open up, we started to get back to normal, 50, 60 runs in a 24-hour period. And we're still there.
Yeah.
So.
What about diversions? Hospitals being full.
It happens. It does. It does, and it's stressful, and you try to do your best you can. Kent's busy. Rhode Island's busy. Miriam's busy. They're all
We're
busy.
trying to balance it out.
We're trying to balance it out. We've had some situations where I just had to call and say, listen, you're closest.
Yeah.
I'm coming. I'm
Right.
sorry, but I'm coming.
Right.
And
How
then,
often are hospitals on diversion? So there was days.
All right, hang on. What's diversion? Explain it for the camera.
So diversion is they don't have enough room in the emergency room to handle any more patients.
yes.
So they say we can't take any more patients by rescue, and then the rescue has to go to another hospital like Rhode Island. And
Yeah, the diversion's like, okay, I twisted my ankle, I called the rescue. Yeah, we can go to another hospital. We're on diversion. Okay. They're open to us if you have a cardiac arrest, a stroke, a STEMI, heart attack, or you can't manage an airway.
Okay.
They'll take you. They have to take you.
they have to, but sometimes it's the hardest part is it's not. Sometimes not best to take the patient to the hospital, even though they're closest and stuff. But they don't have the staff to handle that situation. So if they are chock full, and you have nurses taking care of 5 beds, one nurse to 5 beds. They're scrambling. You're all sick.
Yeah.
It's
You're waiting for
and
them to
now
go
you're
sick.
thinking like you got a CPR. You just left the hospital.
You know
They're flat out.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can't. And there have been times where you and I were like, I can't bring this patient to the hospital because I know they don't have any rooms upstairs. I know they don't have any staff to handle the CPR.
Yeah.
I just left. That's hard.
It's hard, but I mean, with a situation like that, if they're on diversion, they'll take it. They have to take it. And you have to do what's best for the patient. I'm showing up. I'm giving you plenty of notice that I'm coming. So just give me a team of docs and let's be ready to do this. There have been times, depending on where you are in the city, where Rhode Island might be 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Right.
It can, okay, I'm going to Rhode Island, okay, or you can make your decision based on your location. Sometimes your decision is made for you because I know Kent's a mile down the road. My protocols say closest hospital, let's go. and they have to be prepared for it.
Is Kent going on a diversion on a regular basis? But there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm not.
Yeah, there's a lot of
stuff. I'm just saying. But Rhode
Okay.
Island would always go, but they.
Rhode Island's been on diversion. Miriam's been. I think almost every hospital has been on diversion at least once during the week.
So there's a tremendous load.
There
on
is a
hospital
load.
system.
There's
So
a
then-
major.
Over a year
So
ago
then-
compared to a year ago.
Oh yeah.
Where do these people go if everyone's on diversion? What
No,
happens?
but they all can't be on diversion.
Oh, okay.
They
So
get
there's a
forced
certain number. You can only have so many, what they consider the north half of the state and the south half.
Right.
So the south half is Kent, South County, Westerly, and Newport. Those are the four. If two hospitals go on diversion in the south, forces everybody open.
And they gotta take them.
So
They
and
have
they
to-
can get slammed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now you got people waiting in the hallways.
They get forced open. That is the rule, and it's 3 to the north. But it honestly, in this what's going on now, and we talked about it, the COVID. You got nurses working; they're around it all the time. Doctors working, staff's working. Now you start getting your staff catching it. Now you're down staff. Now you're down workers. Now you're down a lot of things, resources, and it snowballs. And normal life doesn't just stop. So you're constantly walking through that door on them. It's tough. I mean, I feel everybody's feeling the stress of it, not just the first responders, but right up the chain. They're feeling the pressure, and now they're saying our hospital capacity is full. This is unprecedented. This is can't remember the last time that this has happened. And I try to explain to people we've had natural disasters, but it's been New England snow or hurricane. The rest of the country's fine. You got to realize that every state is going through the same situation.
And would you say some are even worse off than Rhode Island?
I would say by the news and what I've seen, there's probably a few states that are worse off.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say not by much, I mean, if you only have so much resources, you only have so much you can do. And then, like you said, you gotta find ways to just get it done.
What about the field hospitals? Now, one thing to talk about staffing. You and I both know hospitals, it's hard to find. The hospitals have a hard time getting staff, nurses and all. And we had this personal relationship with the staff, working with them. So if the hospitals themselves are short-staffed, as it is, and I talked to other people about to open up these field hospitals with
these are all.
Who are you going to get to?
Most of them are travelers. Some are volunteers. Same as like New York during the first run.
Right.
I retired, but let me come back and help.
Right.
Like I said, the people that are in these field hospitals, to my understanding, are too sick to go home, but not sick enough to really take an ICU bed.
But what's the take on, are they able to get enough travelers to staff the field hospitals?
Right now, they say they do.
So they're not pulling resources from the existing hospitals to staff the field hospitals?
No.
So that's...
I mean, probably your head doctor that's running it, maybe the back and forth a little bit, but I think it's more, you have your nurses, your PAs, your doctors. Hey, they know that doesn't look good, then an ambulance comes, takes them. Right. Not a rescue. Supposedly, the way they have this set up, and then most states do, a private rescue will bring them.
So they're not pulling from the 911 resources.
They're not pulling from them. Yeah.
The private.
Yeah. We take to the hospital, and then the privates will take it from the hospital, the field hospital. If something should happen at the field hospital, supposedly a private will bring it back in. Because you're looking at one, you have Providence is one, and Cranston's another. Right. Cranston's very busy. You throw a field hospital and tell them to start running out of there.
Right.
you know, just before you left, we had the hotel COVID.
Yeah.
And, you know, they started calling.
Right.
And we're like, you know, we're going back and forth. And when they call, we gown up. We have to go all the way to the 5th floor. One guy,
Yeah.
what's going on? I'm a little short of breath.
Right.
Stuff like that, you know. And getting back to, you know, we used to have that thing where we could call a doc and say, yeah, this is the vitals. We want to leave. That's out the window.
Really?
Too many people have slipped through the gaps.
So now you call, we haul.
We call, you call, we haul.
So now more, because we had discretion.
We had discretion, and like anything else with discretion and anything else in this life, things slip through the crack.
Right.
I left a stroke at home, or I left, he was sepsis and I left him at home. Oh, what, you know, they were falling through the cracks because not, you know, you had to get vitals, you had to get everything, get the doc on the line and explain everything you see. He's going by your explanation and you're saying, oh, I don't see any distress. Okay, I think they're okay. Now we've had a few things fall through the cracks and, you know, more serious stuff other than the COVID, even if they had or didn't have it. So now it's, hey, listen, let's load, get them over there, let them be seen, and then let them decide, you know, do they go home? Do they go somewhere else or whatever?
That's interesting you say that because when it was first started with the COVID, was a lot of it was minor symptoms, stay home, and people that get cold, flu symptoms and stuff, just stay home.
Yeah.
And what you're saying now is a lot of that's changed. Where now it's like they
'Cause
don't
you
know
don't
because
know.
now they know more. They didn't know much.
They don't. They're learning every day,
Right.
and again, things have changed daily. Some have changed weekly, monthly. It's ever changing. Now, I hope the big change will be this vaccination from these companies. Maybe that'll play a little bit of role. Some people will take it, some people won't. But hey, you know what? It's an alternative. It's offered.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting to see. You know, who finally sits down and says, "Hey, I'm gonna try this. I know we rushed it, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it."
Right.
So wait, I mean, I think a lot of people, the conception is this I think it's pretty much a false one, but this vaccine comes out, we all go back to normal. I mean, do you think that's?
I don't think we're gonna see normal for quite a while.
How long would you say?
I would have no idea. I think that, you know, that's well above me and everything else like that.
Right,
who knows when we'll see normal again, you know?
Yeah, but on the ground, I mean, you know, you're on the ground. So, like, you see this stuff firsthand.
So if we get hopefully the vaccination's available in 3 weeks, it still doesn't change the mentality of I need to gown up. I need to have my N95 mask on. The vaccination's great. The flu vaccination's great, but you still catch the flu. You just won't get it as bad. Can you catch COVID but not get it as bad? You know, you still have to have that protection.
So this whole preconception of, which I think you see a lot in the media and just on social media, particularly of like, hey, like this vaccine comes out, maybe 3 or 4 months, COVID's gone, everyone's back to normal, everyone can stop wearing masks and go to college. I mean, is that, and go back to...
that would be, I would love to see that.
Right.
I would love to see it, but the question is, will it? I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. I can't, you know, I think right now it's one step at a time. If it's available and it works, you know, we've had measles vaccinations, we've had mumps, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can you still catch them? Yeah, you can, but the percentage is low. I don't know what will happen. If the vaccination works and it seems to control it for a while, then they can probably hopefully research it more and then get rid of it, you know. Polio was a big one, you know. that hit us hard, and then after research and vaccinations, you don't really hear about polio too much anymore. So it'll be a matter of time. Will we ever get back to normal? I have no idea.
I got one question. Frontline healthcare workers, 911, again, something bad happens, call 911. That's where you show up. I used to show up.
Yep.
The emergency room nurses, emergency room staff. Do you think that wearing masks and PPE does help provide and being safe?
It gives you.
Because you think like
I would say it gives you more protection.
Yeah.
Is it 100%? I don't know.
But for the people that say, you know, but I mean,
Well,
the
we
reality,
used to laugh. Remember, you and I used to laugh. You take an N95.
right?
When was the last time I was fitted for an N95?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And this is something you could probably ask some of the other doctors. We have guys that wear the cloth mask,
Yeah.
like the cloth. Just,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
I went skiing, so I pulled my.
Right.
What's the protection rate on that?
But it's something.
It is something.
And that's the
Something. The whole
something's
thing
better
is
than nothing.
something's better than nothing.
And my argument when this all started, when I was in the
Your tree
hospital,
service. Do we wear helmets?
Yeah.
Is it going to save us? It's a big, but it's something better
it's
than nothing.
something, but you think of for any OSHA does not mandate anything unless there's a reason. So the face masks and all that stuff, when you think of the contact, the number of exposures that you handle,
Yeah.
suspected or real of COVID, and the number of emergency room nurses and doctors and techs
Mm-hmm.
that are exposed to positive COVID patients,
They're exposed longer than we are.
and they're wearing PPE,
Yep.
right? Personal protective equipment. There's a reason. If that did not work,
Oh, we'd be in trouble.
so there's a reason.
There's a reason.
That's my feeling.
There is a reason.
You wear your mask because if it didn't work,
Well,
then it'd be decimation.
even before COVID,
Yeah.
would I let you operate on me like that?
Right.
They knew masks help. They cut down infection
Right.
rates. Gloves
Right.
cuts down on infection rate. Now, the big thing was, and this is still the big thing, I can wear an N95, helps me with things I can't see to a certain, and my face shield.
Right.
I have no problems touching, no blood or anything touching a patient.
Right.
I'm not going to stick my hand in my mouth. I'm going to watch. One thing that has come out of this is people are a little bit more, hey, I got to wash my hands.
Right.
I'm not going to stick my hand in my finger in my nose. I'm not going to stick my hand in my mouth.
Right.
That's usually, how you catch the flu. You touch the door and go, oh yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. If it does the PPE work, it's got to. There's just no way around.
Everyone would be wiped out by now.
Yeah. Well, one of the guys here was at the beginning was out. As you know, he was out in California, and he was dealing with the cruise ships for months.
Right.
Full PPE, everybody out there, not one of the workers tested positive for COVID.
Right.
But they had 400 positive COVID people in one building.
Right.
And they were in and out of the hot zone.
Right.
None of the workers got it, so it has to work,
Right. Right.
So, I mean, and right now, I look at it this way. Yeah, the hospital is in it a lot. First responders, we're into it. We're trying to sanitize our stations. We sanitize our trucks. We try to stay 6 feet away and da-da-da-da-da. And we always thought, you go home. Are you bringing it from home? Right. Are you getting it from a patient? I mean, we still document everything that we think is, could they be? Yeah, possibly. I may have been exposed, but this is what I had on. So now if they want to go, oh yeah, she's positive. Oh, you had a face shield, N95, gown, and gloves.
Right.
You're good. See ya. You had everything that we needed you to have. Your exposure is minute.
Are the hospitals getting back to you with good feedback?
Oh yeah, I mean it was funny at the beginning when like N95 masks were very, they were back and forth just learning about it. You know, hey, he had an N95, he didn't have a surgical mask. Now it's like, hey, just wear your N95.
Right.
Best protection you can.
Yeah.
Just wear it.
There are enough supplies out there? Are you still facing shortages that we faced in the beginning?
I don't think we're facing the short issues. Now I think it's just coming down to staff with, you know, who aren't sick and able to come in.
But early on, I was thinking, are we going to have a mask?
Yeah, right now we seem to be pretty good.
Yeah.
We seem to be pretty good. And like I said, we've made it through this, you know, first phase. We're into our second phase. You know, hopefully we get a vaccination and that'll slow things down again. Again, is everything going to be normal? Probably not. I'll be still wearing an N95 for a while or a surgical mask.
Look in China and Asia, they've been wearing masks for years.
Years, yeah.
That's normal.
That is normal.
You know,
that
listen,
is normal.
no shoes, no shirt, no service. No shoes, no shirt, no mask, no service. Deal with it.
But that's the thing. Some states are different.
Right.
I have family in Florida. You can go to the beach, you can go to the bar, you can go anywhere you want to go.
The guy I know, he recently went to Florida, and when he came back, he said, you got down in a certain part of the country and stuff, you didn't get the hairy, ugly eyeball for not wearing a mask.
No.
But there's different attitudes.
At the beginning, everybody was like, you know,
Yeah.
freaking out. Like, you know, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm not wearing a mask. And that's fine. That's whatever your thought process is. But now if you look around, most everybody's wearing a
That's what
mask.
you said. Up here you do, but when you went down south,
No,
way
down
there, it's
south,
different,
it's
different
all different.
mentality.
Oh yeah.
Like
Everybody
you
has
said,
a-
you go. Someone walks in a gas station up here.
Can
You're
I
like,
take your pictures? Is that okay? You
What?
don't need to pose. Can I take your picture? Is that cool? You don't need to pose or anything. Okay. Keep talking.
but like, yeah, when you're in a gas station, you see someone walking, like, really?
It's funny. It
But
still
down
happens.
Everyone's like,
Yep.
it's totally different. Like almost if you're wearing a mask, like what?
Yeah.
You know, so
It's funny because I'll hit the door and go, and have to run back to the truck to get my mask.
right.
You know, it's just.
You know.
But now, like it's come in habit.
Right. It's like
It's
I go in
habit.
the store, I'm like, you know,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all right, yep, I got it. You know,
Something to just, you know, little protection.
who knows what's right? But you know what? It's
And you know what? Viruses are funny. You know, this thing is just, you know, this mutated. We don't have the proteins. Makes everybody sick.
Right.
The flu's been around
Right.
for a ton.
you know,
And
dealt
we
with the flu.
guess.
We dealt with
We
the flu
guess.
like, all right, you know, yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, you just underlying conditions you don't know. You don't know. So
It is what it
it
is.
is what it is. It hasn't changed much.
That's it. 911, you call, we
But like, you know, when you were there, like we tried East Greenwich, one of the fire departments tried the ultraviolet light. We tried bleach in a sprayer. We were trying everything to try to combat it and try to keep everybody, especially ourselves, safe.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
I got to the point where we got in Warwick, right? We were just like, listen, you have two masks, two N95 masks. Wear one the first 24 hours, put the other one, put it in a bag, put it in your stall. Wear the second one for the next 24-hour shift you have. That first one's done in 7 days or 10 days.
Mhm.
Pull that one back out.
Yeah.
You know, that's when we were getting, and then we tried the cleaning company, but you know, you wear the same mask
yeah,
and now it's torn, dirty.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we can't do that.
right,
You know, so when we were all struggling, we were struggling.
right.
I think with everything that's going on, I think the ramped up, and hopefully, we have enough masks to go around. I mean, right now, like I said, the vaccination works great. Maybe we don't go to N95s, we go to surgical masks or the cloth masks or just something to protect.
Right.
You know, you see the doctors with the pappers and stuff like, because they're in and out of these rooms.
Right.
You know, but it's been an interesting run. A lot different than, hey, hi, how are you, sweetie? Yeah, come on, get on my stretcher. Yeah, how's everything? Where's the cat? Let me feed it. Yeah, anything else? Oh, turn the TV on. Okay.
Chuck, I'm not taking you.
or Gary, if you get up, I'll let you walk away.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a different time. It has been a different time, and you know, and it's, you know, it was overwhelming because we were watching Europe, and then we saw, you know, it's the modern age. By the time they figure out the virus is out, how many, you know, people travel all over the world? I mean, it's out there.
Right.
You know, so it's something foreign like that you haven't had, or, you know, conspiracy theory, oh, they let it out, or it was a bat brain, whatever it may be. We just didn't have the antibodies to fight it.
Right.
And always thought that it would be the invisible bug that wipes us out, you know? So, but it's, you know, it's been tough. We get them in a couple stations. We're in there cleaning again. You know, and I hope they've learned a lot, hopefully, and we'll see what happens. You know, I don't know what's, my boss was trying to tell me exactly about Pfizer's medication, which is kind of neat. There's no preservatives. That's why it has to be frozen.
Yeah.
Dry ice, like negative 100 degrees or something like that. There's no live virus, no dead virus. It's just a protein that they mimics the COVID. You get it, and according to him, you'll get maybe a small fever, maybe some body aches and soreness at the site. But that's your immune system going, hey, something's odd in here, and attacks it like any other virus. But it doesn't have the preservatives. So they're hoping that, you know, it's usually the preservative stuff like that get people in trouble with the allergic reactions and stuff like that. So hopefully it works. You know, my hands are in the air. Right. You know, and like I told Chris, if I get it, I get it. Yeah. If I don't, I don't. Yeah. But you know what? I just gotta do what I gotta do, and if this is what I gotta do, I'll do it. Yeah. You know, if it happens, it happens.
That's awesome.
Except for me, I'm heavier, so I'm gonna die before you.
All right. You guys got anything you want to say before I finish up?
I hope you do your own laundry.
Be sure to tell my mom that.
One thing I heard, like, I was talking to a friend of mine's daughter real quick. She's an ICU nurse up in Miriam, and they got a call for someone had to go to the ICU, and like, we're full. She needs to go. And they had to bump someone out of the ICU that was not as sick, but that's what I'm hearing, that they had a bump to let this other person in, where they said ICU used to be like, you know, you're in there for a couple of days, or, you know, generally, and now, you know, like, people are in the ICUs for long term. But it'd be interesting to hear what other people say about that.
That would be interesting. I think that would be something cool for you to talk to possibly somebody that sees that aspect.
Right, like an
like
ER nurse?
Like your father and
upstairs floor nurse.
That or one of the docs. Like your father and I, if they're walking in that door with a pulse, yippee, after that, it's on them. You know,
Photo finish.
I got you from the door. And whatever happens is up to them. Unfortunately, that's what happens.
Yeah.
And in the past, we could always ask a doc, hey, you know, you remember I brought, oh, yeah. Now you ask them, and they're like, I've seen so many patients. Do you have a name and date of birth? Because I just can't remember.
Right.
Unless something was really crazy that sticks out in your mind, they'll remember.
Right.
But I mean, if I said, hey, I brought Joe Schmo in, oh, what do you have? I think he had abdominal pain. I was just curious what he had. I don't remember.
Yeah.
You know, but if I bring him with somebody with a, you know, something odd, like an arrow through the leg, hey, you remember the guy I brought with? Oh, yeah, because you don't see that every day.
Right.
They're just and the funny thing is that still on?
Yeah, it's still on.
All right. I'll tell you a story afterwards.
Okay.
The other night, I had to go back up to Fauci's office and say, if you get a phone call, let me know.
Yeah.
But everybody's stressed out. Everybody's working hard. Everybody's, you know, people are coming in either really sick or, you know, now you're still getting the
Who's
risk.
coming in really sick?
Either they're coming in, patients are coming into
Patients are coming in sick. Not
either really
guys
sick
on the job.
or really just,
Yeah.
you know, your normal patients.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the
That
other
makes
day.
it hard.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is right now, and this, I wonder if you get, I don't know if you got these questions just before you left or not. Right now is, are they homeless? That's a big question right now because if they're homeless, they're sleeping wherever they can.
Yeah.
They're bouncing couch to couch. So they're always worried about that they're exposed more.
Exposure.
They're exposed more.
Yeah.
They don't have the home, the shelter to isolate.
Right.
They're on the move.
Right.
A lot of our homeless, what do they get? They get a bus pass.
Right. And
Free
they're
bus
all over the place.
And they're in the buses
And
in
they
the
miss the
back,
bus.
and they're all over
Yeah.
the place. You remember,
Yeah.
bus driver pull over, kick
Yeah.
him out.
Yeah.
Somebody call 911.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's ETOH. Go pick
Yeah.
him up. But you know, I don't know what they're doing at Harrington House or any of the
Right.
shelters, but the cold weather's coming too.
Oh, that's right.
You know, before, hey, you can go, it's nice and warm, I can
Yeah.
stay away from people. Now it's going to get cold.
Right.
Where am I spending the night? You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
The homeless is always a hard thing.
Yes.
And
Because
judging the homeless because they know the buzzwords. I got chest pain and stuff. I'm like, do you?
they
Not,
do,
you know?
they do, but I'm finding, you know,
Are they adapting?
they're adapting too. They
Yeah.
are adapting. I mean, but if you watch, you know, opioid use is up. Some suicides are up in certain states.
Not anxiety, depression.
Anxiety, depression, drug use here at home, you know, alcoholism, domestics. Those were all rising during this time.
Wow.
Because your life has changed.
Right.
Your life has changed, you know. I wouldn't want to be home with you.
That's
24/7
interesting about the
for
anxiety, depression, suicides, and domestic abuse. And just,
but you don't have that out. You didn't have that out.
Right.
You can't, you know, you can't go to a party. You can't, hey, go see your friends, supposedly. You know, now you go to dinner, it's one family at a table. I mean, you change people's lives, and they were struggling to begin with. Now they're really struggling.
Right.
You know, and hey, I want to see my doctor. Well, we do telehealth, and I'll have them call you in a week.
Yeah.
That doesn't help me.
Right.
You know, how does that help me now?
Right.
You know, so it is. We're rolling with the punches, and we're trying to get ahead of it. But you know, right now, especially this last week or two, you can see frustration, fatigue.
Yeah. So
Tired.
ramping up.
It's amping up, you know, because run totals are up, hospital census are up.
So you're seeing
People
what-
are just getting like the nursing staff. You know, they're getting they're just overwhelmed.
So the
They're
numbers
working.
that the governor's putting out is you guys are really seeing. You're seeing increased volume.
We're
over the
seeing
past
increased
couple
volume.
weeks.
Oh yeah,
As she's reported this stuff, you're seeing it before.
we're
seeing.
seeing you can tell by the run totals. You know,
You're
you
seeing it
can-
before she's saying it.
Yeah, as our run totals go up, we know stuff's happening.
Yeah.
And again, you know, like before, I've been here 10,000 times for COPD. You gotta stop smoking. You gotta stop smoking. You gotta stop smoking. But you live in a multi-family complex.
Right.
I gotta treat you like you got COVID.
Right.
And believe it or not, good portion of the time, ooh, she's positive. Thank God I put that on.
Wow.
Thank you. You know,
Yeah.
you know how it is.
Yeah.
You have your. I know her.
Yeah.
I know that. You know, we've had a few that, you know, being upstairs, I'd had to look at reports going, "Chris, she was positive. We take her at least 3 times a week. You know,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
read the report. Oh, thank you. You put your shit on.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
It's just, you know, things that you took for granted last night.
Yeah.
Like, you'd walk into Andrea's apartment without blinking an eye.
Right.
Carol's apartment without blinking
Yeah.
an eye. Everybody being like, what the hell's going on
Right,
now?
right.
What are you doing? Now you don't do that.
Right.
Hey, Carol. Yep, still got right flank pain? All right, we'll be in a minute. He's getting dressed.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't want to expose.
Right.
You
There's
know?
one person hurt here. Let's keep it at 1.
Well, yeah. And it's the rescue officer.
Right.
See you later.
Yeah.
You know, no more boo-barring anybody. You know,
Uba.
boo-bar. So
That's interesting, you know.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm a ghost. I could go on for days and days, yeah, I do the most. Wait, whoa.
I'm a shooter, I'ma shoot ya. Cut blocks cause I'm around with the Ruger. Head-to-head shot and we bust your medulla. Everybody in the trunk like a booster.